there as well. You ideally should be able to launch both of these products in several different lines, providing different shapes and dimensions for the customers the best results. We're going for be funny. Be funny.
No way. I can be funny answering questions, but not
I mean, we really shouldn't have got. Hopefully, Greg's kid votes for you because that one vote is 10% of the votes right now.
I hope, yeah.
so. But I'll say at the end of my thing, I'll say like now that Sarah's talking about her solution, it's a very clear indication of
Really?
Sarah's trying. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess that does help.
And then I mean also
If you're
apparently
doing
we'll have a mic, so
Easy to, yeah.
I don't even really need to, but it kind of makes sense.
It's gonna be hard for me to hold the prototypes in a mic.
I can hold the mic
Well, you can
to
probably
you if you want.
Okay, do you want to do
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're gonna need both hands.
our first prototype is a cylinder miniature?
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We have our judges coming downstairs. They have been being debriefed on the rubrics for you guys. As you guys know, if you visited during office hours, you were lucky enough to receive your rubric. All right, so good for you guys. All right, so I'm going to go over the schedule really quickly. I just debriefed all the teams. All right, we're going to start with these opening remarks that, we have to do. Not always the funnest, I know. But then we're going to get in the 10-minute pitches. All right, that is a 3-minute pitch for each of the teams, followed by 3 minutes of Q&A. All right, we do have a hard time limit on that. We have an intern over here that will be sharing the time with the teams, a 1 minute and a 30-second minute warning. Right after your 30 seconds, I will nicely try to cut you off. If you keep talking, I'm just going to keep talking too. Okay? So, all right, so be nice about that. Afterwards, our judges are going to go upstairs to deliberate. Everyone else will be having dinner. Feel free to ask any of the team's questions or follow up with them. Maybe you're interested in their product or just want to know a little bit more. Feel free to talk to those teams. Afterwards, we'll be announcing awards. Sometimes there is a little confusion. Yes, our awards will be announced tonight. We have 5 awards, and I'll get into those in a little bit. And then lastly, we'll have pictures and closing for the teams. As the crowd, you are not required to stay, but if you are a team, you are required to stay. All right, so I'm going to give the judges a second to go ahead and get seated, and then we'll get them introduced and get started. All right, so what is the Moonshot Pitch Challenge? So the Moonshot Pitch Challenge is just what I call a really easy, low barrier pitch. It asks students to share out an idea that they have, what problem they see, who has that problem, and what they have come up for a solution. So we have 3 different categories for that. We have our Earth category, which is what I consider more of our social ideas. Those are usually maybe nonprofits or companies that do good. If you think of companies such as Tom's, who gives a pair of shoes for every shoe sold. All right, then we have Orbit, more of our traditional business ideas. Expedition, these are the dent in the universe ideas, and I'll get more into these later. All right, and what are our prizes? So we have 3 first place prizes. Yep, so for each category.
Testing. Now it's good? Sounds good. I'm Stacy Burr. I'm a Purdue engineer and a Purdue master's over in the Krannert School. I'm excited to be here. I've got a long career in wearables. I've kind of gone through several companies, including starting my own company as a founder that I was able to sell to Adidas, and then most recently spent some time at Google working on their wearables operating system and Google Fit app. And now I'm back in the startup space, so I'm working with 2 startups on the West Coast because I really like to get my hands on products. So I'm happy to be here with all of you and excited to hear what you're going to present.
Hi, I'm Amy Kandrak. I am the CEO and founder of an organization called What Friends Do, and I was the first female founder in the state of Indiana to close venture funding in 2016. And I currently have a team all over the country that I manage, and I'm also now teaching entrepreneurship at another school south of here that is not gold and black. And I've been had the opportunity to judge at the Moonshot finals maybe 3 or 4 times now, and the ideas that come out of this are better than anywhere else I've ever judged. So I'm really excited about tonight.
Hi everyone, my name is Zhang Pang. I'm professor in supply chain and operations management in Daniel School of Business. I also take some other roles here. So I am one of the entrepreneur and innovation fellows in Purdue, and I'm also one of the experiential education champions in Purdue. So I'm very excited to be able to support students to do these activities. Before to coming to Purdue, I have been working in many countries, and I was also entrepreneurs. I'm still not really running, but advising several companies and by playing the role either as board members or as investors. So I will be excited to listen to your ideas. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our expedition category. So this category focuses on radical solutions, disruptive technology, or futuristic
did you say? Yeah. I'm wondering how much space does the device take up? And second question, how much personal interaction do you think is important for physical therapy as opposed to just the numbers or the data?
For sure. Yeah, so the first, in terms of how much it takes up, this is what I talked about, where it's going to be a 7 diameter radius across, so it'll be about the size of like 2 ellipticals. And then in terms of how much physical therapy interaction, I have talked to some physical therapists who said that that is a really big requirement because one-on-one interaction is important. So they first still do have to figure out what the diagnosis and treatment plan are for their clients, but the difference is that, let's say there's a really dangerous exercise that clients can't do on their own, like at home, instead of the physical therapist having to help them for 30 minutes, wasting their time kind of doing this monotonous motions, they'll be able to just kind of assist them to go on this machine. Once they feel comfortable, then they can leave to see another client while they're still on this machine.
I think you did a great job presenting. Thanks so much for all of the effort, because I know it's really, really difficult to do. I'm curious why you and your team are uniquely positioned to create something like this.
Yeah, so right now I'm actually doing a research at Purdue for this machine. I'm working with a professor named Dr. Dow, who's really kind of curious about like kinesiology and mechanical engineering. So I've spent a lot of time this semester and last semester researching how to do it, learning a lot of different CAD softwares on how all like the math and physics applies to it.
And then my last question is, how much do your customers want this?
Yeah, so I think the customer is actually a little bit more for like the physical therapy firms.
Well, that's what I mean is your customer. Yeah.
I'd say that the reason why they want this is because they're able to see a lot more patients each day, and because they're able to see a lot more patients each day, they're going to be able to take in more money. And so my hope is that, as I said, 125 days they'd be able to break even with it.
My question is, how do you scale this? I mean, you mentioned about your target U.S. market. How do you have a plan, and how do you scale it to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
especially in developing countries? So.
For sure. Yeah, so my first part of scaling is first to finish all like the research component into it, and there would have to be a lot of like kind of FDA clearances for it as well. A big component is that it definitely is kind of new to have a robot doing like assisted physical therapy, and so I am
You mentioned a patented process. What problem does the patented solution solve? Is it reducing cost of?
So currently there is only one company, Essent, that has come up with an idea to recycle electric car batteries. When I was working on this, there was no other company or lab that was able to do this. So I came up with this whole idea by myself for the first time. And the whole thing is that there's 4 different procedures that are involved, which is leaching, impurity removal, then extraction, and the synthesis of the materials so that we can get the raw material that is ready to use. In the patented process, have combined all of these 4 processes in order to reduce time and cost.
I think this is something that is like speed to market is going to be really critical for. But my question for you is, how much is it going to cost you to do this, and how much are you going to be making on this? Like,
I was not able to get enough information on the costs about this because the cost for the solutions and the chemicals that I need were not posted online or anywhere that I could find them. But I hope that I can make this as cheap, much cheaper than other companies, since my I have the single process, which reduces a lot of costs and materials.
are you able to know how much people are buying the cobalt, the lithium, the graphite, the nickel for?
Yes,
Okay.
it's not present on this slide,
That's
but
okay.
I can definitely come back to you with that.
I was just, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. So interesting idea. So can I ask you, have you done research in terms of whether there are actually there exists some company who have already been doing this in both United States and other countries? And secondly, have you thought about the stakeholders instead of car manufacturers, other stakeholders who will be able to partner with you on the let's say not necessarily last step of the recycling, but also you described the secondary stage, secondary usage of the battery, and also in what kind of situations it can be used.
So these companies are basically my top companies and the biggest markets as well, because right now some car manufacturers are trying to find alternate solutions to electric batteries. However, until the alternate drivetrain comes to the market, they will be using electric vehicles. So that's why my biggest market was currently only
You guys did a great job on this. My quick question for you, I've got some assumptions in my head now, but why you? What is your background? Clearly you know a lot about this.
So we're a team of PhD students in aerospace engineering, very renowned school in aerospace, and we have the background in myriad areas that can be useful, such as orbital mechanics, as well as structures, controls, that is going to be important to actually build a prototype.
And you mentioned a seed round. How much do you think you need to just get a prototype put together?
I would guess roughly 40,000. Just build the a 10th scale version.
Couple quick questions. So you'll have humans working at the station?
So our original proposal is that this should be a completely autonomous station, but also like the people can be in it if needed, if necessary. Also, like our station is designed to be modular, so if we want, we can just keep adding modules onto it and including like a human habitat on it. So yes.
Gotcha. I was also wondering, have you considered the financial benefit associated with safety of not having like space junk kind of floating around and running into things? That might be a way to build the business case.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Well, you were talking about the value being driven by, repair or workability of device or systems that are already in space. But I think there's also a potential problem of space junk just floating around and crafts running into it and causing damage. So that might be a way to also project higher value for what you're doing of just like cleaning up stuff.
There's actually a very interesting concept being proposed of orbital space tax for space debris for upcoming launches. So that is going to be important in the future as well for reusability. Thank you. So this is a very, very exciting idea. So, and I happen to hear some idea from someone who asked the same questions but not done anything yet. So this is obviously a very big concern, especially in this domain. Just no question, but just a comment. I mean, just a suggestion. You should talk to the SpaceX as soon as possible, instead of looking for C round. I mean, you can look for the C round, C funding, but then you need to talk to SpaceX. Yeah. This is their problem. So. No, absolutely. Customer discovery should be the immediate step because we actually want to know. We have potential companies, but we also have space agencies that might be interested in this project. Thank you.
And that concludes all of our teams for our expedition.
And I'm Durrani Kasrajan Bharti.
And we are Team Epilogue. Our idea is primarily focused on socioeconomic needs and challenges, specifically environmental waste. Coffee is one of the most popular beverages worldwide, and its consumption generates a significant problem in our environment.
Normally, the journey of coffee grounds from coffee shop end at landfill sites. We aim to create an epilogue, extending the story of coffee beans and providing spent coffee grounds with a further purpose and incorporating them into skincare products.
On average, 17 million tons of coffee grounds are spent each year as a byproduct of caffeine consumption. believe they would release a global warming impact equivalent to the entire carbon dioxide output of France. Discarded coffee waste also contributes to water pollution, robbing plants and wildlife of essential oxygen in the water.
Our idea is to take these discarded coffee grounds and turn them into high-quality, eco-friendly skincare products. This provides us with a unique selling point because over 60% of consumers consider sustainability and natural ingredients as an important factor when buying skincare and beauty products.
Caffeine from coffee grounds contains chlorogenic acid, which reduces inflammation. It also helps the skin feel tighter and look brighter. Our products are cost-effective, they're free of harmful chemicals, and they contain antioxidants, including caffeine and other nutrients, that will nourish and revitalize the skin. We plan to get our grounds from roasteries to support local businesses, but our main source of supply will likely come from large companies such as Starbucks. We have already contacted the local Starbucks at Purdue, and they have agreed to give us their spent coffee grounds for free.
We also plan to cross-promote our product using shelf space at stores. And as an incentive, we will offer businesses 10 to 20% of the profit we make from product sales at that store.
Our product line will include facial scrubs, body scrubs, and face masks, which are all designed to cleanse, nourish, and exfoliate the skin. Not only will these products provide a range of benefits for the skin, but they will also promote sustainability and reduce our carbon footprint. If we have an excess supply of grounds, we plan to donate to local farms and gardens to help enrich the soil and compost. By utilizing coffee waste, we are reducing the carbon footprint of the beauty industry and reducing the amount of waste that ends up in landfills. Our next step would be to research manufacturing options to find the safest and most cost-effective choice.
Our idea to recycle coffee grounds and turn them into skincare products is beneficial to both your skin and the environment. So join us in our mission to reduce waste and create a more sustainable future. After all, there's more to the story.
Thank you.
Thank you for that pitch. That was really a nice concept to put out. So it sounds like you've thought about your value proposition or your positioning around sustainability. Have you thought about how you plan to market it and get the story out there?
So as the new generation is coming in, I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on sustainability and also going into like natural ingredients, as the beauty industry is now marketing that. So we would really focus on that as our main marketing feature to really promote the fact that it's natural and free of harmful chemicals.
Additionally, I feel like I think awareness programs are a great way to promote our product and also provide alternative uses to coffee, such as using it as fertilizers or odor removers as well. So what we said with the excess grounds we get from the coffee shops, we can have awareness programs at, for example, universities or schools where we set up our stalls outside and provide free bags of waste coffee grounds, as well as maybe a display of our products to just spread awareness of the coffee waste issue as well as promote our products as well.
Also, just to add, people do care about the story behind the product. That does matter in marketing and just selling in general. And so just the idea of taking coffee grounds that are harmful to the environment, giving them an extra added use, I think is a helpful marketing technique.
I think it's a really nice, clever idea. And I think you almost have said this, but who specifically is your target market here? And I also wonder if you've considered any, I love that you already want to go to Starbucks and all of these other places. But have you also considered any promotional options for consumers where they can, drop off their coffee grounds somewhere for you and then get a discount or something like that?
So right now we have just reached out to local Starbucks, but we do plan to reach out to more. And we also looked into a podcast of another company that is also using spent coffee grounds, and they actually are charging just 50% of what Starbucks normally pays to Wow, that is so cool. Where could I buy one of those?
Oh, buy one of these? I don't know if you'd want to do that. It's actually really expensive. But you can check it out from Tech to You. They're a tech learning library where you can get educational toys like this for a month, play with them, and then turn them back in to get something new.
Wow, that's really cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you should. Hi, I'm Ralph Rivera.
And I'm Jenny Blackburn. And between the two of us, we have over 25 years of experience in engineering and technology outreach.
Now, doing these outreach events is really fun. We get to see kids learning STEM concepts while having fun with it. If they like this and want to continue doing it to gain new hobbies in the STEM space, they can learn even more skills and then even potentially get into a career of STEM. But the fun ends at the end of the day when they have to go home and they can't take these home with them. They ask us if they can, but we have to say no because that's how the program's set up. We're not the only ones they're asking though. When we surveyed the adults with them, they said over 80% of them said that their students are asking them, can they go out and buy these? But they're expensive. With price tags close to and over $100, it's hard for a parent to say, yes, say, we want to buy this for you, when they don't know if the student is actually going to be using it for a long period of time.
So we echo those kids' questions. Why can't they take it home with them? And our solution is Tech to You, a tech lending library where our users are kindergarten through 12th grade students who would come to our outreach programs to learn more about the toys that are available. And then they're able to check those out and take them home to play with them in a self-directed way for a whole month. And then they can come back and exchange it for something completely different next time. Our customers are the parents who would pay a checkout fee so that their kids could borrow these, and our groups which would be like schools, aftercare programs, camps, libraries, and those groups would pay a programming fee for us to bring our engaging STEM activities to them and the kids that they already have in their educational environments.
So to make this work, we're going to need to do some more research into the customers. We want to see how much what parents would pay or what they would want to pay to be able to check out stuff like this for their students. We also need to talk with partners, see how we can work with libraries, with museums, with after-school programs to get in with them so that way we can bring our programming to their activities. And then finally, we need to buy material. We'd like to offset costs through grants and subsidies as a nonprofit organization, so that way parents don't have to pay that much.
This is important because there are high-paying engineering and technology jobs that are in high demand right now, and we think that students of all socioeconomic status deserve an opportunity to enjoy the extracurricular activities and gain the confidence that they get by playing with these in their own homes. So we ask you to help us make engineering and technology education accessible to all students by bringing tech to you, to all.
3 minutes.
One slide here. I love it. So,
Thank you.
And so just a quick comments, suggestion, don't really do the questions. I mean, you mentioned about you'll be reaching out to different stakeholders, and then have you, maybe you could also think about a little family who cannot actually afford it. How would you kind of create, if you could create a business model that can get money from those families who can afford it and subsidize those families, because it's a big issue in the United States.
Yes.
Who cannot afford it, so that they can have equal access to this fun education technologies.
Yeah, and that's a fabulous idea, and that is exactly what our goal overall is. Like Ralph mentioned, we would like to get sponsorships and grants from companies that would help us to subsidize the fees, but then we've also talked about potentially doing some kind of a voucher system where students could earn a checkout fee by coming to the outreach events and participating, and that way it would kind of reduce that barrier to entry even more.
Yeah, and those would be free outreach events. So.
I think this is really fantastic. I wish my kids were younger and I could still do this. I would love to see some really quick, so this sounds really similar to all of the clothing rental boxes that you can get right now. It's like Rent a Runway or Armoire or all of those other, things that you can rent a box. You've got the exact same demographic almost who is renting clothing boxes at the same time. I wonder if you can look at some of those business models. do like a, like buy 2 boxes, one for you, donate one to a local school type of thing. But I really like that subscription box idea. Additionally, if you do the subscription way, I think you have a longer term contract with your customers, and it's not just you have really expensive items here, and I would love to see a like, okay, I pay $100 a month, and I get these 3 tech toys for my kid, and then I know that as soon as I turn them in, I get another box. So I just wonder if that box subscription might be a really nice, quick way to think through for people to like get it in their head.
Yeah. Any comments? I would just say that that wasn't necessarily the model that we had imagined, but I think that that could be a really cool alternative to our idea of something that's more locally centered. It could definitely be an expansion on it, though.
Yeah, what came to mind for me was you might benefit from having some incentive where if parents who have purchased products for their kids and their kids are sort of done with them or bored with them after a month or 2 months, they could, funnel that into your program and as sort of like a recycling approach. I was also thinking you were talking about grants and sponsorships. Have you thought about approaching some of the technology companies who are always looking to have younger people learn on their platforms and products?
I mean, I think that's kind of what sparked our idea. I know, like, I've gone to a conference where I've come away with like $200 worth of Texas Instruments swag just because they want to put that in the hands of teachers so that way they can learn it. So honestly, I see this as a great opportunity for tech companies have a centralized place to give the tech to, and then we can help get it disseminated out into the community. Teachers can try it out with us. If they like it, they can buy it. And if they don't like it, they still gave it to us, and we're still getting people to learn it.
And it's a great try before you buy sort of model.
Well, and then you could like possibly, then you can give them a voucher to purchase it later, and now that might be one of your ways to get all of these products in, right? So your tech companies might say, yes, I'm going to give you X units of our stuff, assuming that we will get X units purchased afterwards because people love it so much.
Awesome idea. Thank you so much.
All right, and that concludes our teams in the Earth category. So again, to recap, we had 2 teams in that category, Epilogue and Tech to You. All right. And next, we have our last and final category, our Orbit category. So this category primarily focuses on launching a company or a product through the exchange of services or information between businesses or between businesses and customers. We have 5 teams in this category, beginning with the Train Yard.
Being a student leader is hard. We know. All 3 of us have been participating in student organizations here at Purdue for 4 years now. Now, my name is Bridget, and I'm the executive director of TEDx Purdue U. Alekia over here has been in half a dozen different student orgs over the past 4 years, and Belasan is actually the president of the Purdue Arab Society. Tell us more about that.
So, I was a part of Purdue Arab Society when COVID hit. I was a board member, and most members were international students, so it got frozen for a year and a half. Unfortunately, when I was trying to reactivate that organization, I had little knowledge, and I really suffered during that time.
Right now, Boiler Link is the main platform that student organizations use in order to manage logistics and overall management. But it's clunky, it's confusing, and it's more of a tool for the university to use to oversee student organizations. We need something that specifically targets students who want to lead an impactful organization on campus, but aren't sure how to do it. Now, when we talked to student leaders and people at the employees at the student activities and organizations department, they said the same thing. Turnover is high and new leaders don't know how to help their teams succeed. So we decided to tackle this problem ourselves.
We invite you to our one-stop shop for linking, sorting, and loading all your organizational needs. Welcome to the Train Yard. Our app includes transition documents to help ease the change in leadership. Leaders will have access to a team charter and events calendar for internal development. There'll also be a grant section with application guidance and deadlines, as well as an FAQ page and other resources you can utilize to learn more about the club instead of scouring disconnected websites. With all the information in one place, it's easy for student leaders to lead their organizations more effectively.
Our current size market is 978 student organizations here at Purdue only. Student organizations will pay an annual subscription fee to unlock premium features, including management documents exclusively for student leaders. Our app is by students, for students. During this process, we will continue interviewing student leaders, as well as having a more detailed market research for other Big Ten universities. And with this process, we will keep iterating our prototype with the feedback that we get. For us, success is seeing our product being utilized by universities across the U.S., not only in Purdue or Big Ten universities. If this application was available for me when I was trying to reactivate Purdue Arab Society, I think it would have helped me so much, and it would have been like a great success through that reactivation process. So thank you for listening to us. This is the Train Yard.
Okay, great. Are there other opportunities that you see to be able to use a tool like this beyond the university environment?
Yes, I was actually gonna mention this, but we were short in time. We see other opportunities and other markets that we wish to capture in the future. Maybe like HR departments and like big companies with like a lot of departments and campuses.
I'm curious how. So one of my friends owns a company that does this, located in Indy. They're specifically for board documents for nonprofits, and it's very, very similar. And I've built tech; it's not as easy as you want it to be to build. And I'm wondering if you would consider looking at a partnership, because I think you have a really nice market. You've done a really good job of defining your market, but would you consider looking at tech that's already built, rebranding it, or why you want to have this unique to you instead of stuff that's already out there being used by, thousands of nonprofit boards currently?
That's actually amazing to hear. We are still in a lot of the research phase, so I think we are absolutely open to a kind of partnership because we're not tech people. We're very much like student-involved communications type folks. So yeah, I would love to talk with you more about that and look into what they're doing.
Interesting idea. To me, this sounds like you mentioned by the link models. I agree pretty much with you, and it is a pain point. However, in terms of starting a company to do this, have you thought about whether the potential competition, let's say whether like Facebook and some other social media or the giants can easily create something similar to this and then to substitute? What is your strategy to protect you against the other competition?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, our biggest strategy is to be disseminating this throughout Purdue's campus and doing a lot of our development here internally so that we can refine a product that can then be spread throughout Big Ten universities and other universities throughout the country. So I think that gives us an extra edge, is that we have this insider's perspective that we can utilize in order to make a product that is better than what our competition could do. But I understand where you're coming from, absolutely, and I think that's something that we should continue to develop going forward.
We have no more questions. Thank you.
then I'll give the judges a few minutes to wrap up on that. And then if you are in the crowd, you can take a second to stand up. We are down to our last 4 presentations. Right, and do you going to want both mics? Which is fine.
Do we want 2 mics?
Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, we'll have one more announcement.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Should have done that in between the categories, but it's okay. Which one? Oh.
Sorry?
Who could have done that in this? Like, what?
Bridget?
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Who just presented?
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys are all in 340 with Trimble?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know who he used to be my advisor. I babysit his kids, and it's like, yeah, he will, yeah. All right, let's bring us back together. Yeah. All right, our team Hard Hands will now present.
Thank you. All right. Climbers know that when they take time off from the sport, they'll have to go through a great deal of pain, time, and possibly even bloodshed to get back their tough hands. I know this, and according to our user interviews, rowers, gymnasts, weightlifters, and many more know this as well. It can take weeks and even months to build back up the tough skin on your hands, and our users do not want to be held back by their hands. Currently, there are very few products on the market that are designed specifically to toughen the skin on your hands, and many of these are designed for a very specific market, such as for guitarists. Our solution will make it much easier to develop tough skin on your hands anywhere without the use of doing any sport and at a low cost.
So our first prototype is a cylinder that has knurling mimicking a barbell. It's great for weightlifters, it's great for rowers, or anybody looking to strengthen the entirety of their hand. It's 1.4 inches in diameter, which we found to be the most comfortable width during our market research. Our second product is a sphere shape that still has that knurling texture, but focuses on your hands a little bit different. It's great for climbers or even guitarists or anybody else looking to strengthen their fingertips or finger segments. Although these products serve active communities, we would like to offer a little bit of individuality in there as well by ideally creating a line of both products that have different sizes and dimensions for our customers to have the most optimal results available.
The market for our idea is very promising. Through our research, we concluded that our market size is roughly 93 million people in the US. This includes climbers, rowers, gymnasts, and weightlifters. This does not include any of our other potential user groups. Further, our market research showed that the average American spends $155 a month on health and fitness products. This comes out to be just short of $2,000 a year, and through that, we valued our market value at $172 billion by using those numbers. Initially, the product will be sold in local climbing gyms and regular gyms in Indiana. From there, we can space out to other gyms throughout the US and even get into the e-commerce. For our product, word of mouth and reviews will be integral to the spread of our product. With your help, we hope to make Hard Hands a reality.
Okay, having spent 9 years at Adidas or Adidas, I can tell you that athletes are a very interesting bunch. They love the gear and they'll try anything, typically to improve performance. So I think you would definitely be able to sell the product to some people. Now the question is, how big can that market be? And I know it's pretty big based on your assessment, but what's your thought on where you start first and how you get that word of mouth going?
So, as you kind of made mention to, the whole athletic lifting people, that's a tight-knit community, and word spreads very fast through that. Cole can attest to that with climbers too. Climbers are a very tight-knit community, and word spreads fast through it. I'm actually part in numerous groups that communication is sent through and stuff like that. So products like this, that's why I said word of mouth and reviews will be very big on that. If the product works and other people see that it works, people are most likely going to buy it. Our product is not going to be an expensive thing. We hope to keep it under $30. so it shouldn't be an expensive product, and that's how we hope to really market out to more people.
I think you did a great presentation. I am like so not in this world. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just like got lotion on my hands to make them softer. So this is really, really interesting to me. And my question was really similar. Are there influencers? Are there big climbers on whatever social media, like TikTok or wherever, that you think would be great to start a relationship with? Because I wonder if that's going to be your best option. And if you're doing that, are you ready to consider a direct ship rather than just inside of any kind of climbing gym or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. We'd like to start with local climbing gyms, of course, but after that, spread to e-commerce very quickly. That would be very nice. And then on top of that, there are a lot of climbers that are influencers and anything like that. And I think we could definitely talk to them and see what we can do with them.
Interesting idea. I was involved in running actually a rehab center. So we have clients, let's say patients who have the similar problem. My question is, how did you, I mean, whether you could actually integrate with your solution with the existing therapy or similar kind of procedures, which is mainly be done by therapists. So if you could, and how would you like to create a model, business model that will allow you to profit from that kind of, service product, not rather than just hardware product?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. We're not 100% certain if the way the product will work, how the user will have to use it, and everything like that. So
And you don't have to answer it, but I think to take it to the next level, you need to explain like how fast it works, does it work, how do you test
You mentioned GPT or ChatGPT or maybe the GPT-4. So you gave me the impression that you want to create a substitute to that. Have you ever thought about how to use the GPT to facilitate the solution creation? It's more like a complement to the GPT for your product. Yeah.
And that's exactly what our custom algorithm does, is because it's a layer on top of models like ChatGPT, GPT-4, we essentially take care of the prompt engineering, or what are the best inputs to put into GPT-4 to get the best outputs that are relevant to both businesses and consumers. So we kind of do partner alongside that. And another thing that we've noticed is when we talk to our customers, they've told us that they've tried ChatGPT, they've tried Jasper, they've tried all these other companies, but getting that level of personalization that's relevant to them and their customer is just not thought of. And so with our algorithm, we're able to do that.
Really cool. Glad you can get in front of the other ChatGPT things like that. Curious what your thoughts are longer term as far as getting in front of more customers. Are you considering any kinds of would you be a plugin somewhere else? What are your thoughts on email marketing places? Already have tens of thousands of customers, right? So what are your thoughts on merging, being acquired by them? Just curious where you're thinking.
Yeah, so one thing that we've noticed in the AI space is that we're really good at making content, like one post for 1 million people, make it as relevant as possible. But in reality, making one post for 1 million people doesn't make it relevant to everyone. It's like a 3-5% conversion rate. It's not really good. But AIs can create 1 million pieces of content relevant to 1 million different people. And we can have that level of personalization. And these legacy social media platforms are just not good for that. So kind of the ultimate goal is we want to vertically integrate the content creation pipeline with this and a content consumption portal where pure consumers can engage with content that's being made just for them. So eventually we're going to make a separate product that closes that feedback loop in order to just make a super portal of sorts where it's just content that is relevant to everyone.
Do you think your competitive advantage will lie in your algorithm or in your ability to create a really simple user interface so that lots of people can engage with your platform?
Yeah, I think the moat of sorts is the type of data that we're able to get. Because not only with this consumer platform that we would be building, we can get the consumer data, figure out how to personalize to them, but we also have the moat of the business data. What is relevant to them? And so with the algorithm, we're able to have those two moats be our incredible advantage, on top of having a really nice UI. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, our next team is Kasan.
Death, loss of livelihood, and his children being forced to drop out of school. This is the story of Kamal, an average small farmer in India who lost it all. Kamal is a small farmer in India, and what that means is that he has essentially no savings left. He also has to sign around 5 contracts per farming season, and all of them contain long documents which are filled with legal jargon. Based on his educational background, he doesn't understand all of it, but is forced to sign them anyway. It somehow happens that one of them sneakily mentions Kamal vows to reimburse the buyer in case the quality is below what is expected. And it so happens that the next month, the buyer rejects the produce, and now Kamal owes the buyer some money. What follows is just a dark path.
According to the United Nations, there's about 500 million small farms in the world. In the United States itself, there's about 75,000 small farmers engaged in contract farming. And all these farmers, just like Kamal, are at a risk of falling prey to malicious contracts.
This number is even higher outside the US. But hey, let's skip over the depressing part. Let's come to our solution. We propose to you
Kisan. Kisan is a software tool that analyzes agricultural contracts. What it does is that it goes through these long, never-ending contracts and flags the important lines with critical information and shows it to the user.
Additionally, what we're doing is we're using AI to simplify some of the legal jargon and present it in a language which is comfortable for the farmer.
So now you can enjoy the benefits of simplified contracts without having to sacrifice any of the legal precision. All, all the farmer has to do is upload the document, and with one click of a button, we take care of all the magic behind the scenes.
Coming to the implementation part of it, we already have a beta version which is kind of being tested, and going forward, we plan to use the Purdue's extension program and target the Indiana counties first. We plan to roll out a free version of it first, and based on the responses from the farmer, we plan on making decisions ahead.
And we also aim to tie up with governments to provide our services at no cost, but additionally also provide our services on a subscription-based model so that farmers can access this anywhere in the world.
Coming to our USP, what differentiates us from other competitors is that we'll always be offering it at a lower cost, as well as we are including a more inclusive model because we can translate it into a language which is preferable for the user. We're also one of the first to address this issue of farmers and their agricultural contracts.
In the future, we aim to expand our services to developing nations. In conclusion, Kisan streamlines,
simplifies,
and empowers.
Thank you.
This is really cool. I have a lot of thoughts because I just had to deal with a farm contract. But my question is, what legal advice is there that is getting involved with this? Because in my very small experience with farmers in Indiana specifically, they kind of already know their lawyer. They already have a relationship, and how are they going to know when they need to update a contract? And is that something that you're going to have in here? I guess my question is, like, is the problem that you described the problem that they're really having, or is their problem, like, when do I need to update the contract? Because I'm just curious what you've learned from local farmers, maybe.
Okay, so we don't intend to give any legal advice because we don't want to get into that space. What we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce how intimidating a contract can be, because at first glance, I mean, for anyone, when you look at a contract, it's like 30 pages long, some legal jargon is there. So we're trying to reduce the barrier into that. So we're trying to from the middleman and give the power into a farmer's hands. So we're displaying the critical information, which might be enough for a farmer to understand, and skip over some of the other information from a huge contract. Additionally, not everyone has knowledge on the legal jargon, so we're going to try to simplify it, which we do, into simpler words, which all of us understand.
You said, like, in Indiana or even in the USA, there are many farmers have access to lawyers, and like they have lawyers for them. But in countries such as India, that is not the case, where they don't really have access to any legal services and don't really have legal knowledge. So services like this, which are provided at no cost, can help them at least understand the basics of what they're getting into, and like at least flag something that they might have not known was there in the contract.
Are ag contracts, do they tend to be standard, or you're indifferent if they're standard because you're looking for certain keywords? Is that how your tool works?
So I mean, it can be a various amount of contracts, like land agreements or like equipment agreements or leases, or there's I think marketing and production contracts, wherein it's based on the sale of what their commodity is. So we can handle any kind of contract. What we do is we have certain set of words which might be important for a farmer, like buying price or acquisition cost, or let's say act of God, which might be important. So we use those words and scan through the contracts, which are normally present in any kind of contract. So yeah.
And I do apologize, Son. It's always you. I'm sorry. All right. And we have our last group, Nudge.
Everyone sleeps, and often we want to wake up, we turn to alarm clocks of a form or another. Most alarm clocks works in a similar way, making some sort of noise to wake the user. But what about people with hearing loss? Oh.
Take this one.
I'm so sorry.
No, not your fault. All right.
Okay. Everyone sleeps. Often when we want to wake up on time, we turn to alarm clocks in one form or another. Most alarm clocks works in the same way, making a noise to wake the user. But what about people with hearing loss? There are over 30 million Americans suffering from hearing loss, a form of another. Traditional alarm clocks won't work for them, and the solutions on the market now are limited and unreliable. One in four people who suffer miss their alarm clocks at least once a week.
However, there are current solutions on the market. However, these solutions aren't adequate for our current user set. Currently, there are sold lights that turn on in order to wake users. However, that wakes every single room, including partners and people who sleep in the room with them, including roommates as well. There are buzzing alarm clocks that vibrate either beds or pillows, but again, those things wake up every person in a room. Then they also have smartwatches and smart devices, but those cost up to $80 plus for a single device. There has to be a simpler solution.
So what we decided to come up with was Nudge. Nudge is a small, it's actually the first wearable patch that acts as a silent alarm clock that can be placed anywhere on the user's body. So at less than 3/8 of an inch tall, its slim design and compact size allows it to be really comfortably placed anywhere on the user, not necessarily just limited to like wristwatches or other devices that are placed, just on the chest or other areas like that, or pieces in comparison to it. Nudge works by using small, gentle vibrations to wake the user up, so there's no big jarring vibration pieces that are in, attached to your mattress or to the user, but also it only awakes, like we were saying, just the individual users who are wearing it. So it's very personable. You don't have to worry about disrupting, other people who you may be sleeping with or around. And it's also a very simple design as it's connected to an application via Bluetooth, also wirelessly charged. So to use it, it's really easy. It would be as simple as opening up the application that's on there, setting an alarm like we're all used to doing on our phone as is now, and then going to sleep. Nudge does the work from there. It wakes up as long as you place it on your skin somewhere. It will work, kind of moving with that and the gentle vibrations to wake you up, kind of moving forwards.
Yeah, so our current market that we're looking at has, so we were looking at the alarm clock market itself. It's generated over the past year, 2022, generated around over $180 million in that single year. And so moving forward, it's projected that within the next 5 years, that'll be over $240 million. So we know that the alarm clock system, that market is growing, and we know that we have over, again, 30 million American adults or American people with hearing loss who do have some sort of, that need some sort of assistive device. And we did find that 2 out of 5 people with hearing loss do look for some sort of assistive device to help them through their day-to-day life.
And we do have a rough prototype there. It doesn't have the vibration unit in it yet, but that is about the size and how it would stick. We do need to, again, work on the format of it, but that's what we're going for.
So you see it as a reusable device?
We do.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
we.
the bottom part of this will detach from the top part. So whenever you want to change the silicone on the bottom part, you can detach the top part with all the electric components in it. So you could just switch out the bottom silicone patch.
Nice. And what do you think the cost would be?
So our current model that we made right now took us under $10 to make. So moving forward, we really do think that it would actually be a really reduced cost once we work with companies that can give us an actual estimate on what the actual product would be.
There's a concern on this. I mean that it looks like you have some particular target people, target customer, and also particular function. But have you actually thought about this could be a very general kind of application? And secondly, whether this can be easily substituted by, let's say, the existing wearable device such as a smartphone and other things in this kind of function.
For the first question, we do have a secondary market that we can obviously target. It's people who are living with other people, such as couples, roommates, or travelers who people want to wake up discreetly, like their morning routine has to be quiet and not bother other people. That is for the more general public of this device.
Yeah, and just really kind of trying to focus on, we thought about that as well, but kind of starting out with, we're looking more in kind of for the specific use of, finding that deaf and hard of hearing community as kind of an entry point, because we were able to find statistics and numbers on, the fact that 2 out of every 5 of them actively go out and look for, it's a community that's, already kind of used to looking for devices to help them out and make their lives easier. So it's a market that, creating an electronic device for them is not something new for them and is easily kind of introduced as well.
I really like you'll at least get some early adopters there. I think it's unique, and what's nice is that it's not regulated, so you can just get into the market pretty fast as long as you don't have skin irritation problems.
Yeah.
All right, and that concludes all 10 pitches. If I could have another round of applause for everyone, did great job. Yeah. All right, so our judges can exit and go upstairs. You have the tough decision to make. Grab some pizza along the way, and then Arnold will take you. Yep. All right. For the rest of you, give you a second. Yep. All right, and for the rest of you, there was a flyer when you came in. Listen up. There was a flyer when you came in that discusses the next step in the challenge. So some of you have started on Moonshot. You may be partaking in market validation. Yeah. All right, and our next step is the new venture challenge. We actually kick that off tomorrow. I think a lot of what I've seen today would be a great fit for that. That leads up into our Startup Expo, which is our annual entrepreneurial day. We showcase teams such as yours that have been working on projects and maybe wanting to launch a company. The prize pool for that is $100,000. Our top team last year took away $45,000. All right, so just something to think about. Flyers over there. Go ahead and grab pizza. Thank you, Eric. All right, now we can get started. All right, so we wanted to begin with one of our smaller prizes. If you remember, we have two $500 prizes, our best undergraduate team and our crowd favorite team. To much of our surprise, we had someone very enthusiastic, vote. So we had our ballot a little stuffed, a little more, maybe let's say we had about 60 or 70 votes. If we look around, we don't really have that many people. So to be fair to all of our teams, we are going to do a vote for crowd favorite by a show of hands. A little different than I've traditionally had, I know. And to be fair to all of the teams, we're gonna throw it back like we did in middle school. All right, everybody's gonna close their eyes. All right, everybody's gonna close their eyes. You're gonna look down. All right, yep, close your eyes. And as I say a team name, just raise your hand. We'll have someone count them and go about it that way. All right, not ideal. All right, are you ready to count? All right, everybody close your eyes. Starting with omnidirectional therapeutic. Awesome. Put your hands down. Relieve batteries. All right, put your hands down. Space janitor. Thank you. Epilogue. Thank you. Tech to you. All right, thank you. The train yard. Thank you. Hard hands. Thank you. Quasi. Thank you. Kassan. Thank you. Nudge. All right, thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being flexible. All right. And for being a very excited crowd for us. Thank you. All right. Okay, you tell me. Yep. Yep. All right. Okay. All right, in the meantime, while we're having that name written down, we are going to move to best undergraduate team. Give me that check for the best undergraduate. All right, could I have a drum roll, please? All right, Quasi, congratulations. Let me stand up. All right. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Back to our favorite award, the crowd favorite. All right. Drum roll. We have Nudge. If you would like to test this later, you can come see me, okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. We have our expedition category next, all right? If you remember, we had 3 teams in this category. These are our, out of these out of this world ideas. All right, drum roll, please. Space janitor.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have our Earth category. If you remember, we had 2 teams in this category. All right, drum roll, please. Tech to you.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting in on you.
Thank you. All right, and our final category, orbit. If you remember, we had 5 teams in this category. Drum roll, please. Nudge again.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Another round of applause to all the teams. Congrats. And I know it was a difficult decision upstairs because I heard it when I went up there. All right. So congrats again. Thank you all for participating, for sharing out your ideas. As I always say, it's not easy to share out an idea, much less when you have 2 or 3 minutes to do so and when you're in front of a crowd. All right. That's all I have. Thank you so much.